Y'all, the propaganda is getting overt. We gotta talk about this. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, for this episode of the Bullet Points this morning, we are going to talk about something that I saw on ABC News. Now, I know, no shock to any of us, ABC News is peddling a gun control narrative. But what I want to draw attention to is what they're covering and what they're considering a mass shooting. It's going to expose them for what they're doing, overt manipulation, because when you listen to what they're about to do in this clip I'm going to show you, it's clear that this is not what they're describing. Everything's going to be linked in your description box below. I've got to let you know what's going on in here. Hear from me in the comments field below. Now, let's get a quick read from our sponsor who made this possible, and then we're going to hit it and hit it hard on the other side. The USCCA is about something bigger than the right to bear arms. It's a resource to help you be ready for the before, during, and after a self-defense incident. If you're not one of the 500,000 plus USCCA members, then now is the time to explore USCCA membership. Click the link in description below now to learn more about the life-saving education and industry-leading training right down there in the description box. And thank you to USCCA for making these videos possible. Alright guys, so I've got a clip, basically it's a 2.5 minute clip that I've cut up into segments we're going to talk about. It's 4 in total. I want to hear from you guys in the comments on this one because this is really easy to dismantle when you look at what they're doing and you understand what they're trying to drive home. They're trying to make wine out of stones. Man, this is impossibly hard. But check this out. Here's the anchor. By the way, this is the exact same anchor a week and a half ago said that David Hogg should run for Congress, if that doesn't tell you anything. But let's get into it. Enough of me gabbing.
Mass shootings reported in America this weekend in New York, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania.
All right, so there's the setup. It's all about mass shootings that were in New York, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Now, we're going to talk about those situations because each one of them has a very interesting thread, including the fact that you did not hear anything about California. It was only a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Isn't that interesting how that one didn't make it in, but those 3 did? Watch this. I'm going to show you what they're doing because this is a situation. The first one we're going to talk about this Pennsylvania situation, or Pittsburgh rather.
Another mass shooting claiming 2 young lives, teenage boys overnight in Pittsburgh, adding to the spike in gun deaths in America.
All right, so right there. They're trying to frame it from a perspective of, look how bad our country is. More violence and gun death in America. What they aren't telling you is the actual details of that case. For example, that was at a house party of minors. It was an Airbnb, so no one actually lived there. The minors had firearms. 2 of them got into altercation and started actually shooting at each other. That's a bit of a problem. Since you are a minor, you can't own a firearm, you can't have a firearm, but you still did. In a crowded room where Airbnb had rented out to 200 minors that were in this room. But Airbnb is going to get it in a second because you'll remember that they outlawed guns at Airbnbs about a year and a half, 2 years ago. It was a big, proud moment that they had. Worked out well. Anyway, now to the next one. Check this out.
And just hours earlier, chaos also erupting at this mall in Columbia, South Carolina. 9 people shot, 5 others were injured when police believe an ongoing conflict between at least 2 suspects resulted in an exchange of gunfire.
All right, so now you're going to South Carolina. See what they're doing. They're painting the picture of New York. You've got South Carolina. You've got Pennsylvania. It's awash everywhere. But the one little common thread that they keep on forgetting to mention, or at least allude to a little bit, is the fact that it's always altercations between 2 different groups of people and other people are injured. You notice how the focus is not the fact that this is obviously a criminal element in both of these instances, because what 15, 17-year-old is going to actually have a firearm unless it's a well-practiced criminal? I haven't read the reports, but I can kind of take a stab in the dark. But anyway, that's my point. So now South Carolina. When we're talking about South Carolina, 2 individuals started popping off at each other in a public space with no regard to public life, which is disgusting. But that's not a mass shooting. It's really important because they're trying to paint this picture. Okay, so now listen to the last one they're going to go into, and they're going to hit New York, but they didn't leave California because that was also gang violence. But listen to this last piece here, though. They wrap it up.
Mass shootings, defined as when 4 or more people are shot in a single incident, are up 66% in the last 2 years.
Already more than 130 mass shootings in the U.S. here this year. And Mona Kosar-Abdi joins us now. Mona, Airbnb released a statement regarding the early morning shooting in Pittsburgh. What do they say?
Lindsay, Airbnb says they have a strict no-party policy and have banned that booking guest for life. They also say they are considering legal options to hold them accountable. Lindsay?
Mona, thank you.
So I'm going to a lot there. 4 or more injured. Okay, well, that doesn't include any kind of gang violence, crime, as I mentioned. It doesn't, so any of that. So all they're saying is, that's a mass shooting. Well, then the anchor comes on and says, well, there's been 130 this year, and it's up 66%. Now, the big problem that they have is they can't come out and say it's up 66% unless they cover what's happening. Now, the big deal is they're having to cover it, and you can see exactly what this is. It is a lot of very nefarious people getting involved with altercations with other nefarious people, and innocents are injured. It's actually more case in point to defend yourselves. But that's a conversation for another time. And then that last piece about Airbnb. Interestingly enough, Airbnb has a strict policy against parties. They have a strict policy against any firearms on any of their properties. I wonder if they have a strict policy on underage drinking at their locations. This is not what they're framing it as. They are trying to manipulate and frame the conversation because it's not working out exactly like they're trying to. And they're trying to build momentum by manipulation. That's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you tonight at the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.